In this lesson, you will learn how to define and use functions. We have already called several built in functions in this ebook: print, input, etc. The int function receives any data type which can be converted to an int as the argument. Typically, this function is used to convert a string into an int data type. In this example, variable b will be a string type as it was assigned a string, and we convert the value of this to int type by using the int function. We have also chained the output of one function as an argument input to another function. Here, the input function receives a string value from the user and passes that as an input to the int function. So, what is a function? Well, a function is a block of code consisting of one or more Python statements which are invoked together as a sequence of instructions. And when the function is called, the sequence of instruction get executed. If a function is defined with parameters, then you have to invoke such a function with the necessary arguments. In this statement, print is the function name and the argument is the string value hello. This is a built-in function because we did not define it, but was already available in the Python programming API, and we simply used it. But now you will learn how to define your own function with your own name for them. Let's define a function named add with two input parameters a and b. And inside the function implementation, we add the two input values and then return the result of this addition. So a function is defined using the def keyword followed by any name and list of parameters you want, and should end with the colon to start the block of code for the function. If the function is returning something back, then a return keyword should be used. Once the function is defined, we can call that function by sending in different input values. And here in this example, you see an invocation with 3 and 5 as the arguments being passed for this add function. In this example, we are invoking the same add function multiple times with different input values and then saving the returned value from the function in separate variables and then printing them out. It is not necessary for every function to return something. In this example, the display sum function does not return anything, but instead prints out the computed sum. So, when a function is invoked with its name and arguments, the values are copied over in the same order to its respective parameter names, and then those parameter names can be used inside the function to compute. So, in this example, parameter name A gets a value of 3 and parameter name B gets a value of 4 when this function is invoked. Once defined, the same function can be invoked any number of times, and every time the value of A and B change based on what is passed to them in every invocation. You can also send in a collection with enough number of elements in it to copy over to each function parameter by unpacking the collection using the asterisk operator. Because of using the asterisk, the list will not be passed as list to the function. Instead, it will be unpacked and each element of the list is copied over to the corresponding positional parameter in the function. Of course, you can also send any complex structure like list, tuple, dictionary, etc., and you can treat them as same inside the function. Here is the same display sum changed to receive a list, and inside the function, you write the code to iterate the list elements and compute the sum. So, The function that is defined here needs two arguments for it to work, nothing more or nothing less. Any invocation of this function without enough or more arguments will give you an error. But we have been using the print statement by sending in variable number of arguments. So, how is that possible? A function can receive variable number of arguments if the function parameter name is preceded by the same asterisk. In this case, all the passed in arguments are converted to a tuple and passed into the function. Now, inside the function body, you can iterate the tuple to get all the sent in arguments. There are a few more concepts to understand with respect to functions. One of them is variable keyword arguments. Another one is passing in the default values. And finally, unpacking the dictionaries and a couple of more. I would highly suggest you to refer to the ebooks to understand them in detail.